A fabulous battle for all of the drivers in the Mini X30 run as we are getting ready for the first of our finals. Mini X30 has definitely been very close all the way through the course of the campaign. And as you can see, the drivers are gearing up, ready for the start in these magnificent little carts, 110 kilograms minimum weight. And it's obviously going to be a fantastic battle for all of the contenders on their Comet tyres with Panther fuel. And these youngsters aged 8 to 12 are battling in international competition, for many cases, for the very first time. In the Mini X30 final heats, it's obviously come down to Maxim Bobrishov and Dan Aleman, who have got their way to the front of the field, winning both of their super heats, and that puts them on the front row of the grid. But championship leader Jesse Phillips now has 19 points advantage over Archie Lovett coming into the last race of the season, with Dan Aleman pretty much out of contention for the title, but still in the hunt for an IWF ticket. It all adds up to a fabulous final here in the X30 Mini category, with 13 laps of karting Genk to come. And it's the first of 3 magic finals. And check out that skyline. We thought it was going to be a sunny, glorious day, but just as the finals are lingering over the circuit, those rain clouds are descending on karting Genk. I'm Jake Sanson, beside me Anthony Jordan. Could we have called a better showdown? With everything on the line the way it is, and now the rain starting to threaten to come back to karting Genk.
Well, that would certainly make these finals very interesting. And hello and welcome to everyone joining us from around the world on motorsport.tv, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you are watching. Welcome. You're about to witness the finales here in the Miami Euro Series in 2023. One champion has already technically been crowned, will be officially crowned at the end of the 3 races in Junior, but in Mini and Senior X30, like Jake was saying, it is still all to play for. But we're looking forward to this one, but Jesse Phillips is the driver to beat in this one. He has been fairly dominant all the way throughout this season, and in the championship standings now, updated after, of course, the points added after the super heats and qualifying heats. He now has 81 championship points from Archie Lovett's 62. There is a big gap there, but it can be roughly beaten, I think. I need to do the quick maths on that one. Dan Aleman there, though, he starts on the front row for this one as well. And certainly looking forward to seeing what the young driver from Switzerland can do over the course of this weekend. 2 heat wins, and of course, the super heat win earlier on as well, qualified second over the weekend. But starting alongside on the front row for that one, Maxim Bobrishov. What a weekend he has had. 2 second places, a heat win, and then he also won his super heat earlier on today as well. He qualified third over the weekend, but the front row lockout's going to be a good one.
You can follow the championship and the ramifications on the Virtual Championship scoreboard on IamiEuroSeries.com and hit the live timing button, because we're going to take the championship standings into context over the course of the week. It's already been calculated. Jesse Phillips comes into this one with 81 points, having dropped his score at Marienborg in the super heat. He came home with 5 points there for finishing P6 on the starting grid for the final. But that score has now already been dropped because he's taken 10 points twice and 8 points here today. So that puts him on a grand total now of 81. So it'll be his worst score from a final that is dropped. If it's going the way it currently is going, that is likely to be his final at Franciacorta, where he came home with 13 points. If he stays in the top 3, it'll almost certainly be that score that drops, and that will confirm Jesse Phillips as the Miami Euro Series champion for 2023. And that will be the 5th year in a row, by the way, for Fusion Motorsport in the Miami Euro Series in Mini X30, after Freddie Slater in 2019, Cahal Clark in 2020, Luna Flusha in 2021, and Daniel Kelleher last year. Is it going to be Jesse Phillips who makes it 5 from 5 for Fusion Motorsport in as many years? There is Dan Maron, the Spanish driver, who's looking to finish his title campaign in the top 6 of the championship. He has a good chance to do that. He's got to catch up to the tally of Max Endicott and Benjamin Monach, but he is going to be starting ahead of both of them. So he does have a great opportunity to catch them up in terms of the battles out there on the course. But for Maxim Bobrishov and Dan Aleman on the front row of the grid, they have a chance to try and move up. For Dan Aleman, he can actually catch and overhaul Archie Lovett's tally and move himself into second in the championship. That's the most likely outcome compared to where we're currently looking, as we watch the Belgian talent Stig de Rademakers, who is going to be there starting in the 3rd row of the starting grid in P6 alongside his teammate Dan Miron. But there's so many incredible battles to come here. On paper, Jesse Phillips should have it fairly straightforward, providing he stays ahead of Archie Lovett and ahead of Dan Aleman, or at least close to him, because Aleman needs to really dominate him with Phillips basically not scoring in this final in order to win the title. But there is still a slim chance of that. There is Bruno Priam for the Spirit Racing team, lining up 7th on the starting grid. And he's had a very competitive and strong weekend. He'd like to finish on a high note. But there are obviously still a handful of drivers that can go for the IWF tickets. Archie Lovett, Dan Aleman and Kanish Grau all in the hunt for that. There is Kanish Grau, who if he has a good enough final, he could manage to get himself into 3rd in the standings. And that would, of course, guarantee him a ticket for the Miami Warriors final at Portimao in October. These drivers' version of the Indy 500.
Certainly so, and we are looking forward to seeing what happens at that weekend. But before that, we have to finish here at Genk. And, well, it is just going to be a roller coaster of emotions, I think, for a lot of these drivers there. Jarlath Sayre starting this one on that 5th row of the grid in P9. 7th, 6th and a 5th in the qualifying heats over the course of this weekend. Qualified 28th, so to make it into the finals, it is a good one. And there you can see everyone happy.
Now that is Mama Peters. Of course, young Cesc Peters is competing in his first ever final at the Miami Euro Series. This is his debut. Cesc Peters, and he's actually going to be starting ahead of some serious competitors. Benjamin Malak, Danny Babacek, Austin Newsted, Bruno Grueling, Flavio Caira, who took a win earlier this weekend. So for Cesc Peters, making his debut in the Miami Euro Series this weekend, is quite an incredible achievement and fantastic to see him right there in the hunt. The fans in the stands are getting themselves into the best possible seating positions, because this is absolutely where to watch the finals from. Look at how dark that sky is getting.
I've got to say, the wind has picked up. There's a chill in the air now, isn't there? And that's certainly not a nice thing to feel out there. Max Endicott, though, another driver who has had an absolutely fabulous weekend. It didn't go too well in qualifying. 26th he qualified this weekend. But with 2 7th places and an 8th place in the qualifying heats, he certainly made his way through the field very well, giving us a nice cheeky wave. I'm looking forward to seeing what Max can do in this race.
So we are going to see a fantastic situation here for the title fight. It's going to be very close for Bobrishov and Aleman up at the front end of the field. Aleman hoping to overhaul Archie Lovett for 2nd in the championship at the very least. Those rain clouds looking ominous, aren't they?
That is raining there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. At that point, it is raining, and that's only about half a mile away. But we're looking at the circuit itself, and I think it is actually starting to rain here at the track, certainly at the final turn. So whether it's going to be that, yeah, it is raining. It is. So that's a big problem, and that could actually delay the start, depending on how heavy it gets. But with 30 seconds to go till the drivers head out around the circuit, we'll have to see, because if it gets heavy quickly, then obviously the race will be red flagged and they'll be given the chance to get onto wet tyres ahead of the final. But we'll have to see how heavy it gets, how quickly. For the moment, though, certainly, it's going to be a really intriguing battle here at Karting Genk as we get ourselves ready for the X30 mini final at the home of champions. Now, we're going to see how it all plays out, because this is where a title will be decided between Jesse Phillips, Archie Lovett, and Dan Aleman. Who is going to be the Miami Euro Series 2023 Mini X30 champion in about 13 laps' time? We will find out. Maxim Bobrishov and Dan Aleman will line up on the front row of the starting grid from Jesse Phillips and Gilles Hamann. Then it is Dan Midon and Stig de Rademakers, Bruno Priam and Kanish Grau, from Jarlath Sayre and Stan Fajot, Max Endicott and Theo Polisson, Oliver Warner and Matteo Rivals, Antoine Venon, Edouard Godefroy, Noah Grenier, Angelina Simons, Gustavo Marquez and Archie Lovett. Then Mason Brooks alongside Leo Peruzzi, Cesc Peters and Benjamin Manak, Denny Babacek and Didier Klieft, from Zach Zhu and Austin Newsted, Jori Brugman and Bruno Grayling, Juste Mulder, Ludwig Granfist, Flavio Caira, Tony Casciafero, Max Murray and Niles Malik. And the rain is starting to pick up, and there is already an absence, and that is Denny Babacek. He does not look like he is taking his position on the starting grid. It's raining, but it's not heavy yet. That's the thing.
No, and you have to remember that maybe the temperature low, but there was still a bit of track temperature remaining from the heats earlier on. It will have cooled down through the break, but these drivers will know what they need to do. I'm just keeping an eye. It's spotting, but again, I don't think it's going to be of full concern. You can imagine the drivers right now testing the waters, pardon the pun on that one, with the track condition. But Martin Bean sending them around one more time just to get temperature into those tyres because they are going to need it.
Well, karting Genk can get very heavy very quickly. I have a very fond but also very frightened memory of what we had in the European Championships a couple of years ago in the junior category when the drivers were on their first racing lap and they were all on slick tyres and the rain was coming down very hard indeed, and 15 of the top 17 karts all spat into the barriers at Cafe Corner very dramatically. It went viral. Fortunately, everybody was okay, but that just shows you how quickly things can get out of hand for drivers on slick tyres in the wet. It is raining, but it's nowhere near as heavy as it was back then.
Oh, it's coming down now.
Now it's coming down. Now it's coming down. Yep, so now we are getting a lot heavier in terms of the rain. And whether we go racing or not, this is all going to come down to Martin Bean. I have a feeling he'll send them round for another formation lap on this particular occasion. It's going to be tricky to tell here, but obviously it's all going to come down to the conditions on the course. And it's red.
Yeah, have they thrown a red flag out?
I believe so. Well, certainly there's red lights on the graphics on the course. Obviously, they'll go out and then we'll go racing, so...
I don't think it is. I think we're still going.
Okay, so the drivers will come off the final turn. And I think, actually, yes, it is raining, but it's actually eased. So I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be all right. So they come off the final turn. We are racing in the Mini X30 final. Off we go, and it's Maxim Bobrishov alongside Dan Aleman to the first corner. Jesse Phillips slotting in a second. No problems at all for Dan Medon to come through in a third position. And a cracking start here at Karting Genk as they sweep through the first couple of corners into turn 3. And Phillips and Medon are chasing after Maxim Bobrishov. Good start from everybody as they hold the road on the first sector. And already Jesse Phillips going with Dan Medon to go after the GGM car in front of Maxim Bobrishov as the field squirts through turn 6. There's a spin in the middle, and it looks as though a couple of drivers are having to take to the grass. It's the 827 that gets held up. That is Justa Mulder, already having had problems this weekend, but it's no problem at all up at the front end of the field. A light spattering of rain on the warm-up lap, not causing an issue for the moment.
No, it certainly would have put the fear into the drivers, though, wouldn't it? They look very tentative going in towards turn 1, but everyone came out okay there. You can see everyone just sliding to the inside there. Is that Dan Aleman trying to make some positions? There it is. So Aleman on a recovery drive here. 2 more drivers off the track. And who is that? It's the 912 that's gone off the circuit there. And it's one of the Yana Racing karts.
I believe that's Matteo Rivals. It is. It's Matteo Rivals. He's come off at the 10th corner and had to rejoin on the other side of the course. So the original pole position sitter, Matteo Rivals, his race is ruined. Yeah,
it really is. Right to the back of the grid. He will not like that at all. But despite that, the race continues and it's still looking very close here at the front. Bobrishov from Phillips, Daniel Miron from Jarlis Sayer, very close, but the battle's still happening all the way through the entirety of the pack. Look how dark it's got here at Karting Genk. It's absolutely terrifying.
Well, Matteo Rivals needs to get his foot down because the leaders are about to get on him. So this is going to be very tricky as they will try and negotiate their way through. Maxim Bobrishov has got big pressure. There's Dan Aleman about to lose a position again. So Dan Aleman is really struggling here as the leaders come through, getting past Matteo Rivals. He stays well out of the way. He's not going to cause any issues for anyone. Very sporting indeed from Matteo Rivals. He'll be very disappointed. Careful. He'll come straight back to the racetrack. He'll rejoin down at the back, a lap behind everybody else, but very unfortunate for Rivals. At least he doesn't cause an issue. So, Bobrishov, Phillips, Miron, Sayer, Endicott and Warner, the 2 teammates. Then Venon, Priam, Dan Aleman and Stan Peugeot in the top 10. If it stays like this, Jesse Phillips will win the championship by 24 points.
Yep, certainly will. And, well, we'll have to keep a close on it as the race goes on because now they're still just driving away here as down the inside. Jarlis Sayer gets the move done now on Bobrishov, and he is down into P4.
Phillips is leading.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Phillips leading the way, so he got the job done. And Miron there in second place now, and these two are just pushing each other away now from the rest of the field. If they can maintain this, they are all good.
Bobrishov all the way down to P4 now behind Jarlis Sayer, so it looks like it could be a fusion hat-trick here on the podium. Phillips, Miron and Sayer, 1, 2 and 3 from Bobrishov, Endicott and Warner. So it's 3 fusions, followed by 3 George Gibbons karts. So this is absolutely terrific for them, but the Oliver Rowland Motorsport driver, Antoine Venon, has made his way up into 7th position now, so he's trying to get that those 2 trios, he's trying to get them split up. Now here comes Dan Miron in behind Jesse Phillips into lap 4 and still going strong. That little threat of rain well and truly gone as into the pits to retire. I think that is Matteo Rivals.
No, I think that's Sid Rademacher who's come into the pit lane.
So the Rademakers has come into the pits to retire. What's happened to Kanish Rao? Kanish Rao has gone right to the back of the field. Disaster for Kanish Rao. And that's going to drop him behind Dan Midon in the championship fight as well.
Well, this has certainly been shaken up here in this final. This is not what we expected to see. Some big names who are contenders into this one have just disappeared from the fray. Well, the main contender going into this one, Phillips, is in, and there it was. It was Sid the Rademacher who's pulled it into the pit lane, and, well, he's just devastated and completely understandable. It's the final round of the season. It's the final race. And you're out before the race is even over. It's a horrible feeling.
And it's his home circuit as well. That makes it even worse. Here comes the battle up front, though. Phillips and Miron, and they're just going to push away. Miron can be quite happy, sat behind his teammate as we watch the battle a little further back. So we've got Bobdashov back into third position. He's worked his way back, and he's not that far away from Phillips and Miron. Up the inside then, we've got a great squabble further back. This is Peruzzi going wheel to wheel with his teammate Mason Brooks. And so they're having a great tussle in the midfield. Theo Polisson gets the fastest lap of the race under his belt. But Phillips leading the way here. This would be the first time he'd won a final in the season. He's won 2 superheat battles and got pole position for 2 finals, which is why his score is so high. He's been incredibly consistent through the course of the year. He doesn't even have to win the race to be champion, as long as he stays in the top 3. In fact, to be honest, if he stays in front of Alaman and Lovett, he's all done and dusted. But this is the way he wants to do it. He wants to win from the front.
Yeah, and Alaman, who's down into 8th place at the moment. Lovett, who is up into 13th place. He has gained 7, so Archie Lovett still could be a threat here as the race goes on. Remember, these are 13 laps. It's a long old race, the longest race that these drivers will have had over the course of the weekend as well. So there is still plenty of time for things to change here. And, well, Bobachov has latched on to the back of these two once again. They have not managed to break away here. And crucially as well, Endicott and Sayer, who are working together now, are still working to try and close in on this battle. So keep a close eye on that one. Dan Alaman, who's just behind them, is hoping that that happens. And I think it's just a case of we're just going to have to wait until the champagne bottle cork pops here on this bottle of a race, because it's certainly going to heat up as it goes on. There's a look at your championship standings there. Confirmation Phillips with the 93, Lovett with the 65, and Alaman also with the 65. It's still a battle between those two for 2nd and 3rd in the championship, but they could still have a chance of this one if it all goes Pete-Tong at the front.
Certainly could. With Jesse Phillips looking good for the win here up front and the title. It'll be fabulous if he gets the win by 28 points over Lovett and Alaman. Alaman trying to climb his way back up, and he could get into 2nd in the standings with this performance. Here comes the move from Bobadashov, though. He's going to take the lead away from Jesse Phillips on lap 7 of 13. No panic still for Jesse as long as he's in front of Lovett and Alaman. It will still be job done, but he is a racer. He wants to win. He has been so consistent through the course of the year. He's been ultra Mr. Ice Cool, having come off the back of winning the I-Games at Campillos in 22 and the Winter Cup at Valencia at the beginning of this year. He would dearly love to add a 3rd international IAME accolade in the space of 12 months. The only thing that would be missing would be the IWF, and that's coming up in October at Portimao. So this could be a real super opportunity for Jesse Phillips. He sits in behind Bobadashov. He's got plenty of time.
Certainly has. This is still a long old race that these drivers have got. And we'll keep a very close eye on this one. It's still heating up in the mid-pack as well. Alaman now has put himself up ahead of Archie Lovett in the championship standings as well with the moves that he's been making, because he's up into P5 now. But Lovett still trying to latch on to the back of the group between Stan Fargo, Gilles Herman and Theo Polican. He's there in 13th place. He has gained 7 positions, but he is not in this fight just yet. He needs to gain more places. Here, though, at the front, still Bobachov from Phillips. Miron, big look over the shoulder from Phillips. And I've got to say, Endicott and Alaman, I think they're starting to close in here on this trio up front.
Well, this is going to get very interesting in the closing stages, because Jesse Phillips looking pretty feisty as he runs in behind Bobadashov, but he's got support from his teammate Dan Midon, and they've still got 5.5 laps to settle this between the two teams. Amazing how it used to be ORM and Fusion. Now it's GGM and Fusion these days. So a fabulous opportunity now for Maxime Bobadashov to repeat the feat of Alex Martinez last year here at Karting Gang, when he gave the GGM team their first win in an IAME Euro final. and now he is on the verge of doing the same thing here at the same place. But Phillips and Miron are still giving him plenty of pressure. In fourth place, don't forget that Max Endicott is on the mother of all comebacks.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's up to P4 now. Endicott gaining 7 positions in this one. He is siding his way through the field. Here is a replay of Nilis Melek looking down at the kart there and potentially thinking he's got an issue there with the tyres.
Well, certainly something not quite right, and he's gesticulating about it.
Well, he's dropped down to 30 seconds, so whatever it was, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's definitely not helped him out, has it? Meanwhile, as well as Max Endicott making a recovery, Dan Aleman has moved himself up into 4th position. Now, that's going to give him 2nd in the Drivers' Championship because he's going to gain a few more points for that. Archie Lovett is doing his best to come back. He's in 12th position at the moment, trying to gain on Theo Polissand. And if he gains enough positions, he'll be 2nd in the championship. But certainly for your man up front, in 2nd position in this race, Jesse Phillips, it looks almost home and dry here. He could still take another 5 points away from it if he wants the win, but he doesn't even need to do it.
No, he certainly doesn't. Like I say, he's doing exactly what he needs to do all the way throughout this one. And I've got a feeling, I think Bobajov and Phillips now are starting to drop Miron here. He's under pressure quite a bit here. And if there could be a benefit to this, if he drops back and closes in with Aleman and Endicott, they might have enough to push them back up to this group here. But Miron, and I think he's looking behind him now, and I think he's thinking just that. Maybe I back off and I join those guys and help push me forward.
He doesn't even need the win at this point. From Jesse's point of view, he just needs to keep it nice and tidy, and he'll follow so many incredible drivers into the history books of the IAME X30 Mini Crown. Alejandro Melendez, Freddie Slater, Cahal Clark, Luna Flusha, Daniel Kelleher, and now it looks as though it could be Jesse Phillips. He just needs to keep it together for these final 3 laps as he comes out of the final turn behind Maxim Bobadashov. An incredible young career. He was a star in the Bambinos. He worked his way through across Britain, Europe, and the Middle East, and here he is in the IAME Euro Series. It's been a long time coming for young Jesse Phillips, but he has won everything there is to win in the IAME International calendar since the I-Games last year. The only other titles he hasn't won yet are the Euro Series and the IWF, which is coming in October. And for Jesse Phillips, he's got one last chance here in the last 3 laps to go for Maxim Bobadashov, but he has no overtaking move yet. He doesn't need to. He's got another couple of laps before he can go for the win if that's what he wants.
Yeah, exactly that. He will just latch onto the back here. If he's going to do anything, he will wait to the very last lap, I suspect, give Maxim Bobadashov no time whatsoever to retaliate. And I think he's now starting to test the waters here as Phillips. He's taking tighter lines here and there. He's sussing, right, where can I potentially just sneak this down the inside here, there and everywhere. But Maxim Bobadashov, he's certainly not going to make it easy for Phillips, because Bobadashov, who's certainly had a fantastic weekend, but he is 8th in the championships at the moment. He qualified 3rd, did Maxim Bobadashov. He won his superheats. He wants to win this final. He wants to come away with a nice trophy at the end of this weekend, and it's fully deserved if he can.
So with a lap and a half to go, Jesse Phillips just testing the waters on Maxim Bobadashov. Behind him, it's mid-on. Aleman has come all the way up to P4, and that's going to cement a 2nd position unless Lovett can make up a few more places. He's in 12th at the moment behind Gilles Herman and Theo Polissand. But Endicott in P5 doing well. Bruno Priam in 6th from Seya, Warner, Fajot, Herman, Polissand, Lovett, Grenier, Marquez, and the last point scorer is going to be Super Flavio Kaida. No, it's not, because he's just got past Gustavo Marquez. So he's going to finish 14th in front of Marquez in 15th if it stays like this, with Goodfouad, Brugman, Peruzzi, Venon, and Angelina Simons all trying to break into that final point.
Right now, Bobadashov looks like he's got this under control. But is that Phillips just playing mind games here, giving him the room, thinking that, yeah, I'm not going to go for the move here, and then all of a sudden changes his mind and goes for it. He'll have the slipstream down the start-finish straight now as we go on to the final lap, but the gap seems to be the largest it's been so far this race. Has Phillips just dropped off a little bit too much there?
If he wants the win, maybe, but he's got bigger fish to fry. The last lap of the season in X30 Mini, and Maxim Bobadashov can give GGM the victory that they have been wanting again since the end of last year at Kartingeg. The battle for 3rd is getting hectic. Miron, Aleman and Endicott all want it. Endicott getting into 4th place ahead of Dan Aleman. So that could potentially change hands for 2nd in the championship. There is Endicott having his look at the 985 of Dan Medon. He wants to get onto the podium for the last race of the season, and Endicott's got a fabulous chance to do it. That would be an amazing comeback for Endicott if he could get the final trophy on the podium this weekend. He is pushing hard. He's got a bit of time. Jesse Phillips isn't going to overwork himself from Maxim Bobrishov. He's going to hand it to his colleague. Bobrishov wins the race, but Jesse Phillips wins the Miami Euro Series. They both get to win today. Bobrishov wins the race. Phillips wins the title. Amazing.
Well, what can you say? Jesse Phillips, he's been waiting for that one, and he finally gets it. The championship in his hands now. He doesn't take the win. That will go to Bobrishov. Well deserved for both of them, but you can imagine how much weight has just been lifted off Jesse Phillips' shoulders here.
Why have controversy when you can have two winners in one day? Bobrishov wins the final. Phillips wins the championship title in the Miami Euro Series for Mini X30. He follows in the wheel tracks of Alejandro Melendez, Freddie Slater, Cahal Clark, Luna Flusha, and Daniel Kelleher. Now it is Jesse Phillips who takes his rightful place as Mini X30 winner in 2023. And for the 5th year in a row, it's a Fusion Motorsport driver that gets the job done in Mini X30. From Slater to Clark to Flusha to Kelleher and now to Phillips. An amazing run. Maxim Bobrishov wins the race. Jesse Phillips wins the title. Dan Medon in 3rd from Max Endicott in a brilliant 4th ahead of Bruno Priam and Dan Alleman, with Oliver Warner in 7th ahead of Jarlath Sayer, Gilles Hamann and Stan Pajot. A good comeback in the end there for Archie Lovett in 11th. That gives him 2nd in the championship fight ahead of Theo Polissand, Noah Grenier, Flavio Caira and Edouard Godefroid, who score the points. Look at Maxim Bobrishov. He is absolutely overcome with emotion at winning the final. Jesse Phillips will be ecstatic at becoming champion. And you know what? For Jesse Phillips, that's the I-Games, then the Winter Cup, now the Euro Series. In 2 months' time, he can win the 4th big title in the space of 12 months at the IWF. Cometh the opportunity, cometh the man. But Maxim Bobrishov is absolutely in euphoria down there in the picture. I've never seen somebody so overcome with emotion to take the win. It's been such a hard year for Maxim Bobrishov. He finishes the year with a win in the final and 4th in the standings. And Maxim Bobrishov has absolutely stormed to the win in this final. Excellent work. And for the 2nd year in a row, GGM takes the win at Karting Genk in the Mini X30 final.
Yep, this has been absolutely fantastic, and you have to love to see this. You really do. The emotion of just winning a final, it's so overwhelming on some drivers, especially the young drivers into this series. And, you know, I think that's the first of many, I think, for Maxim Bobrishov. I'm really excited to see what this young driver can do in the future.
This is the final moment when you stand on the weighbridge and you know you're absolutely 100% compliant. No front fairing loose. You're not underweight. Boom. It cannot be taken away from you. Good job. Absolutely brilliant from Maxim Bobrishov. Such an incredible competitor this season, and what a brilliant weekend for him. He's always been there or thereabouts. He never overdrove the kart. He never outraced himself. Absolutely the right places at the right times. A couple of fisticuffs in the first lap of the Mini X30 final. When it was very dark and very foreboding, we thought that the rain was going to hit. It did briefly.
Well, it did, yeah. It tumbled down at one point very heavily, didn't it? That was another moment there where Kanish Rao, that's the reason why he dropped down the order.
On the inset, Maxim Bobrishov just cannot stop celebrating. Good man. You drink it in. You absolutely deserve every second of this. And a fabulous race. Very unfortunate for Mathieu Rivals, the man who got the original pole position in time qualifying, of course. But then Phillips and Moron working their way past Bobrishov. Again, Bobrishov could have panicked at this point because he dropped to 4th behind Jarlath Sayer. But he didn't panic at this point. He just said, right, okay, well, the 3 Fusions are going to have their moment. I'm going to just take my time, wait for my opportunity, be careful, be cautious, and get my chance to come back at him. And that was so neatly planned. There is Bobrishov's move on Jesse Phillips for the win. And he is still down there in Parc Ferme. Maxim Bobrishov enjoying every single moment of this, and he absolutely romps away to the victory. A fabulous day. There's no controversy at all in Mini X30, and it's a double win. A win in the final for Bobrishov, a win in the title for Jesse Phillips. That is the perfect way for Mini X30 to end in 2023.
It certainly is, and we look forward to seeing them on the podium a little bit later on, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. And there you can see Maxim celebrating with the rest of the team. Certainly a momentous achievement for everyone involved at the George Gibbons Motorsport outfit. And yeah, they've not been a team long, have they? And certainly, you know, coming in, getting a driver in that final and even winning the final as well.
Well, GGM have been well established in the Middle East, in Dubai and in the far-flung karting outfits there, racing in Bahrain, in Qatar and in Kuwait. But this is a very different story, coming to the Euro Series, which is recognised as the stepping stone to the World Final. An absolutely amazing job. But this man, Jesse Phillips, helmet off, finally, you are the winner of the Miami Euro Series. Excellent work from Jesse Phillips after all the hard years of work from the world of Bambinos into cadets in the UK and then to Mini X30 here in Europe. Fabulous work. And Jesse Phillips takes his latest accolade in just the space of 9 months, essentially. He has taken the I-Games, the Winter Cup and the Euro Series. In 2 months' time, he can go for the quad.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen, your podium finishers. We will now invite, for Karting Genk, Mr. Koen Lemmens to come forward and present the trophies to our top 3 drivers and to our winning team manager, starting with our man in 3rd position, representing Spain and Fusion Motorsport, Dan Midon. And to our driver in 2nd position, representing the United Kingdom and Fusion Motorsport, Jesse Phillips. And to our race winner for the United Arab Emirates and George Gibbons Motorsport, Maxim Bobrashov. And last but definitely not least, the winning team manager's trophy for George Gibbons Motorsport. Ladies and gentlemen, your winning team manager, George Gibbons. Congratulations to our 3 drivers on the podium and our winning team manager. And we will ask all 3 of the drivers to stand together on the top step of the podium. And team manager George Gibbons, you can get close to them as well. And there we are, your winning shot on the podium of our 3 drivers in Mini X30 here at Karting Genk. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Midon, Jesse Phillips, and your race winner, Maxim Bobrashov. And so the moment that all 3 drivers will have been waiting for, it's time to party in the Belgian rain. They've had a fabulous moment all through the weekend, but now I'm sure all 3 drivers will want to celebrate. George, you might want to make a run for this, because I don't think you want to get that jacket wet, my friend. But the drivers are about to party here in Belgium in the time-honored tradition of motorsport. On the podium, ladies and gentlemen, let's get busy with a fizzy! A fabulous result for our 3 drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Dan Midon, Jesse Phillips, and your race winner, Maxim Bobrashov! I'm going to go forward and have a word with Maxim, our race winner. Maxim, such a tough race weekend, but coming through to take the final victory, you must be so delighted with the progress made.
Yeah, I'm so happy we went through all this to win. I don't have much words, but I'm just so happy.
A fantastic result, and obviously finishing the season in style. On to the IWF, you must be really excited with what's coming up.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, your top 3 drivers in Mini X30, Maxim Bobrashov, Jesse Phillips, and Dan Midon. Give them a big hand. So you can now deliver the trophies and the helmets to the parents. But the Mini X30 drivers don't want to disappear too far, because now we will come to the Miami Euro Series top 3 for 2023 in Mini X30. We will now invite Roland Geidel of the RGMMC Group to come forward to present the top 3 drivers their trophies at the end of a very long and successful Miami Euro Series campaign. Starting with our driver in 3rd position for Switzerland and Spirit Racing, Dan Allemann. And to our competitor in second position for the United Kingdom and Oliver Rowland Motorsport, Archie Lovett. And last, but by no means least, the 5th consecutive Fusion Motorsport Mini X30 winner in the Miami Euro Series for the United Kingdom and Fusion Motorsport, Jesse Phillips. A huge congratulations to Jesse, Archie, and Dan. They'll pose for pictures, and now you can all stand together on the top step of the podium. A fabulous winning shot then with our 3 drivers. There you are, ladies and gentlemen, your Mini X30 top 3 for 2023. Dan Alleman, Archie Lovett, and your new champion, Jesse Phillips. But if you thought it's just the race top 3 that gets a champagne spray, oh no, it's the Mini X30 top 3 as well. A fabulous performance for our minis, and now they get to celebrate a long season in style. Let's party! A fabulous end to the season for Dan, Archie, and Jesse. A brilliant end. Don't worry, folks, it is non-alcoholic. It probably doesn't taste as good as the winning drink in the restaurant tonight. However, let's have a quick word with Jesse after a very long and fabulous season. Jesse, it's been quite the year over the last 9 months, from the I-Games to the Winter Cup, and now you've won the Euro Series. What are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm so happy, obviously, to win the Euro Series. Obviously, it's with so much highs and lows. It's been amazing.
And obviously, you go from here with the winning ticket to the Miami Warrior Finals in Portimao. You could win your 4th accolade in 12 months.
Well, yeah, as I said, we're going to keep focused on this one, and now that this one's won, we're going to move on to the next one, and hopefully we're going to keep practicing, and then hopefully we can win another one.
Ever aspirant. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, your new title winner, Jesse Phillips.